All right. Welcome back, everyone, to another rematch. I don't need to introduce these players. These players have played already. It's none other than JayHannah, playing as the Blackstones, 9K rank on OGS, and Stanley.Silver, rank 9K. He got demoted. Stanley.Silver got demoted. This is a comeback game. This is match number 2 between these two powerhouses. And so we have a great game today. Same rules as before. There's a 6-stone handicap for Jay because Stanley.Silver was of a higher ranking previously. And so they wanted to rematch. They got the rematch, and now they're heading off. But if you guys can see, there is something different that Stanley.Silver is doing currently right now. As you can see, before in the first match, Stanley.Silver decided to take the top and the bottom territory, as that is the weakest spot on the board for JayHannah. But however, in this match, he is not opting to go for that. Instead, he's going straight at the Tiger story. He's going straight and trying to take a territory right away. He's starting conflict right off the bat, first thing in the morning. And so what he's trying to do right here, he's going to try to take this territory right here away from Jay. He does not want Jay to hold this territory, because that last round, I'm sorry, more than 50 points a difference, that's insane. So what's happening right here is that Jay is trying to create a surround on Stanley's pieces over here. So Stanley right now, he's extending. Remember, to extend is to strengthen your stones. And so yes, he's not going to be traveling as fast, but because of that, he's actually strengthening these stones right here, starting to create this wall of fortitude. All right, now Jay sees that this wall is starting to get built, so he's going to try to prod in right here, trying to cause a surround on these stones. But unfortunately for him, Stanley sees that, and so Stanley decides to play right on the outskirts where the stones might potentially go. And so Jay is like, you know what, I know that you see it already, but I'm gonna try to break through, and if I can break through, that's good enough for me. And so right here, Jay plays right next to Stanley's B14 stone right here, causing some tension. And now he's gonna go from behind. He's gonna flank these two stones right here. He's thirsting for blood. That's the best way I can put it. He's thirsting for blood. And so right now, Stanley sees this. He's going to try to play on C12, causing a Atari situation for Jay. And Jay is like, you know what? Take it. Because if you take this stone, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play right here in blue, and I'm going to start surrounding this box again. This is something similar that has happened in our first match. I'm going to do the exact same thing again. Go ahead and take it. And so Stanley is like, you know what? I better take it right now, because that's a free liberty. And what I can do is extend just a little bit outwards more. Try to build this longer chain and cut these 3 stones off. But right now, he's not doing that. What's happening is that there are some tension. Jay put his move on B11, threatening to surround this group of 6 stones right here. And Stanley sees that. He's like, you know what? I'm going to start extending. I need to start gaining more liberty spots so that this whole entire group does not die. And so we're just keep going right here, and he's going to keep extending. So he's extending, and now Jay sees that, but Jay has to watch out. Because right now he's in prime position for an intersection point. Stanley can easily put a stone right here to disconnect these 2 stones and potentially put himself in a favorable position by taking momentum away from Jay. Because right now, if Stanley puts a stone right here, this stone of Jay's, this blue stone of Jay's, is going to be in an Atari position, which is something that, you don't want to be in. You don't want to lose that momentum. And so what happened is that Jay was like, you know what? Let me try to surround as best as I can. That's what I'm going to try to do. But Stanley's like, okay, well, if you do that, I'm going to start Hanaing you these 2 stones right here and starting to threaten you. And then Jay responds, is like, you know what, if you're going to do that, I'm going to try to Atari you right here. And then Stanley was like, okay, if you Atari me, I'm going to Atari you and extend my influence in the center. And that's exactly what happens. And while he's doing that, mind you, this sets him up for a beautiful move of a double Atari I know I'm falling behind, but it sets him up for a double Atari move right here because Stanley decides to play at C11, which threatens the C10 and C12 stones. And so double Atari taking momentum away from Jay. Now Jay's panicking. He's trying to run away. He's trying to extend his territory right here, his line of influence, in hopes that he could save these groups of 3 stones. But unfortunately for him, as he's extending this, his influence right here on the 12th line, 12th row, Stanley's also doing that on the 13th and boxing in the 3 stones right here. So now Jay has lost the group of 3 stones. He is no longer able to get out because he's now in an Atari position. And even if he tries to extend, Stanley can just play on the, I think it's G15 route. Okay. And so Jay sees this. Now he's going to try to save these 2 stones right here. All Jay has to do is go down. He just has to go down. I don't know why he would extend out. Maybe he's trying to save these 3 stones over here. But in my honest opinion, maybe go down and threaten that stone right there as well, and fortify this corner. That's my recommendation, at least. But it looks like Jay wants to protect these 3 stones, wants to try to gain some more influence around this area. But yeah, that's interesting. And so what happened is that Stanley just destroyed those 3 stone group. Yeah, Jay Tanuki'd out. He decided to play elsewhere. He's trying to fortify the corners now by Tanuking elsewhere and allowing Stanley to play wherever he wants, essentially. And so Stanley took those 3 groups. Now Stanley is going to respond by trying to threaten this top right-hand corner while extending his reach in this middle area. So he's now going to go for the weakest position on the board that Jay currently doesn't have strength in, which is the top and the bottom board. Unfortunately, the bottom board has already been strengthened right here by these 2 stones. So for Stanley, it's going to be a little bit harder. So the top group right here, where Stanley does have a strong start, might be the easier territory to start overtaking. So what Jay just did, he did a knight's move away from these stones right here, trying to expand that territory into the middle. And this stone, in my opinion, it looks like it's just there as a placeholder for a later position in the mid game. Later in the mid game, this stone might play a huge role later in the mid game. He's just setting that up for a case that if Stanley decides to invade right here, which he does, they might go up towards the middle, and this stone might be one of Jay's saving grace, because it might be a position where he could get an extra liberty or 2 and potentially start a surround on these white stones if they decide to extend out into the middle. Not only that, this stone also plays a nice role in trying to fortify this 10th row line right here and preventing Stanley's white stones from going down even further towards these stones down here. Okay. So now Stanley sees this, and Stanley's like, you know what, Jay, you have way too many territories. I'm going to take some territory away from you. And so what's going to happen is that Stanley's going to try to steal this territory right here. And this is a very common Joseki pattern where you would take the 3-3 spot, and you would most likely try to extend out, but this might be a different variation of that. Again, I'm not very knowledgeable in various types of Josekis, but and Josekis, for those of you guys who are brand new to the game, Josekis is pretty much the play pattern towards the edge of the map. Fuseki is pretty much the overall board play style strategy, and Joseki is the one closer to the edge, at least, and that's my understanding of it. And another way you could think of it is like the meta of the game itself. Like, what is the most common moves that people are currently playing right now to prevent territorial takeover. But right now, Stanley decides to move at T3. I don't know about that, because right now he's on an Atari. I mean, Jay could easily steal this group right here. Yeah, Stanley might fortify down here towards the bottom. might fortify down here. He is creating some more Tiger's Mouth, and Tiger's Mouth are is the shape of the 3 stones in a triangular shape. So right here, these 3 stones that is 1 space away from each other is what we consider a Tiger's Mouth. And the reason why it's called a Tiger's Mouth is because if anyone plays a stone in there, Stanley can easily play on the bottom bit and chew out or eat the black stone. So, but right here, Stanley is in somewhat of a trouble because right now Jay has a nice position. He decided to play elsewhere. Remember, this is an infinite Komi pattern, so you cannot, opposing players cannot keep taking back and forth every single turn. They have to play 1 move elsewhere and then come back to recapture the piece that did the capturing on the last round. So if that doesn't make sense, you can always YouTube Infinite Komi. I'm hoping I'm explaining that as easily as I can. At least that's how I understand it. So anyways, so what's going on is that Jay could easily take this piece again, which I'm very curious as to why he isn't, because he is going to threaten this stone right here with another Atari. And if Stanley wants to prevent that, all he has to do is just connect, and that's exactly what he does. And so Jay, I guess he was threatened by the extension of these 4 stones right here on the rows 2 and 3, and so he decides to fortify this positioning right here, just so that Stanley doesn't get the upper hand. But Stanley was like, you know what? You can fortify as much as you want, but I'm gonna start building a base in this region right here. I'm gonna start building a base, and there's nothing really you can do about it. Yeah, you could try to surround, but I can easily just cut you right here. So Stanley could easily cut him. Yeah, maybe Jay is gonna Atari, but that Atari might, I mean, if anything, Jay should play here to force Stanley to go. Yes, exactly, to go over here. But remember, because now there's an Atari move, even if Jay captures this stone, these groups are still not connected until Jay fills in the space that Stanley is currently occupying. So this is another way that you can weaken a strong walls by creating holes in the wall. Now, is it safe? It can be if you're able to get a good surround on one of the pieces of the wall right here. So if Stanley's able to surround these 2 pieces, that's still a good indicator that even if Jay puts his stone right here and captures that stone, if these 2 stones are completely surrounded, Stanley can always have the opportunity to steal back that spot and capturing these 2 stones right here. So but that's only if he's able to get that surround. And right now we can see Stanley's trying to extend out into the middle of the map. He's trying to build this region right here as Jay's influence is somewhat getting stronger. So Stanley is currently doing the best he can. He's trying to protect himself by creating some eyes right now. I love water. That's just water, guys. So he's trying to create some fortification right here, and so Stanley is like, you know what? You can build a wall. Go ahead, build a wall. Take this bottom left-hand corner, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start strengthening this row right here. So he's gonna probably most likely try to extend out and build himself a position at least towards the middle of the map. And he might also try to build over here as well. So as long as he can get these positionings right here, these groups of black stones down here might be in some trouble. Might. Okay. And so Jay sees that, but Jay is now currently preoccupied. He's like, okay, you know what, Stanley? I don't want you to get this top right-hand corner. I'm going to try to defend it. So Jay's most likely going to play right here to disconnect Stanley from doing a complete surround. Either there, yeah, he does. And Stanley's going to probably connect right here to protect himself from an Atari move. We'll see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, he doesn't decide that. Okay. Instead, Stanley decides to strengthen his border, trying to build out something stronger. again, he does have an extra move. If Jay moves here, he can always play this at any time. So this is what we call an Aji. That's a potential move for later on. I don't have to play it now. If I play it now, it's essentially a waste of a move. I don't need to play it now. I can always play it when I feel threatened. So that's a play that he can play back then, back at any time. And so what's going to happen is that he's like, okay, well, if I can play it any time, let's try something else to strengthen my positioning or to build influence on the board. And so essentially what he did was he's extending out his territorial space right here. He's strengthening his units as well as expanding past that. And so you can see that this is a 2-space extension. Now, most of the time you don't want to go too far out, because that leaves potential for Jay to come in and pretty much disconnect these stones from the bottom stones. However, with that being said, even if he tries to disconnect, since Stanley does have some influence right here, if Jay doesn't solve this influence or solve this issue right down here, then essentially what Stanley could do is conquer this bottom right hand corner and pretty much take out all of Jay's stones down here. So it's a lesser of two evil. Either A, cut out his positioning right here so that he no longer has a strong border up here, or defend down here so that he can't extend. Stanley can't extend all the way down here and take over that whole entire area. So that's the gamble, and that's the choice that you would have to make in real time. And unfortunately, these players are also on a time limit, and so I believe this was a normal time limit, about 20 minutes with 30-second Komi or something, or not 30-second Komi, Byomi, 30-second Byomi. I believe that was what it was. So right now what's happening is that Stanley is trying to extend into the middle. Jay sees that. He's trying to protect this bottom half right here. And so most likely what Stanley's going to do is probably intersect between these two stones right here, cutting those two stones off from each other. Again, he does have some units on the bottom down here. But if he doesn't take care of that anytime soon, he might be in trouble. And right here, wow, Jay actually found a really nice move. He found the A18 move, forcing this to be on an Atari. But like I said, Stanley's going to respond with his own Atari. Jay's most likely going to take, and then Stanley's most likely going to extend out or push down to connect the stones. Okay, that's just another way to fortify the wall. It's a sacrificial stone, unfortunately. But yep, like I said, Stanley decides to play down here, trying to disconnect these two stones from each other. Again, you could play here, or you could play directly in the middle, or one space on top. It doesn't really matter. One space below the two lines might be a little better because it doesn't allow Jay to come in and cut these stones completely off. So that might have been a better move. Okay. And so now Jay's trying to solidify as many territories as he can. So you can see he's trying to go right here, solidify this territory over here. He's already gone this territory down here, and this bottom left-hand territory. But Stanley also has some territory of his own. It looks like Stanley's territory might be somewhere right here. It might be this center region right here, and it might be this bottom region over here. Assuming that these black stones are dead, Stanley's territory is significantly bigger, or if not equal, to Jay. And because Stanley has that 0.5 lead, even if they tie, Stanley will win at the end of the match. So right here, Jay is thirsting for blood. He sees that these group of white stones has very few liberties, but unfortunately Stanley does have an Aji already waiting. If Jay threatens these stones enough, Stanley can always move here, capturing these three stones and opening up some liberties. So again, Stanley's not afraid of getting surrounded by this top group right here, but if push comes to shove, he will enact that play at any time. And so what's happening is that Stanley is now getting somewhat like, you know what, hey, stop playing in the top right hand corner. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to surround this whole black group right here. And if, in doing so, if I can get a complete surround, I can free up the top left hand corner, and that top left hand corner is now going to be mine. And so Jay has to do something. He's probably going to capture, yes, he's probably going to capture these two pieces by playing in one of these regions. And Stanley's like, okay, you know what? Capture those two pieces. You don't have a secondary eye. You don't have a second eye. What I'm going to do is I'm going to extend. And exactly he does that. He's going to extend down and most likely let Jay have this, but then he's probably going to play somewhere right here. Stanley's probably going to play towards the edge to prevent Jay from building that second eye. Or he's going to play right here to prevent Jay from building that second eye. Okay. But Stanley decides to spread out. He's trying to prevent this complete surround of this white group right here. I don't know, Stanley. I honestly probably would have played right there, in my own opinion, just so that Jay doesn't build that second eye. But then again, Stanley does have a plan. So even if Jay does build down there or tries to disconnect off, for Stanley, it's very hard to come in on either side because that puts him at a self Atari. Okay, and that's something that we don't really want. So what have we done so far? Successfully. Well, it looks like successfully. Stanley has captured these two black pieces right here. Now, if he was undergoing a Atari race, what could potentially happen is that these two black pieces, for Jay to save these two black pieces, he would have to capture these three pieces over here. But unfortunately, those three pieces has 1, 2, 3, 4 liberties versus 2 liberties of his over there. So honestly, this whole top left hand corner is probably Stanley's at this point. Now Stanley plays in here to prevent Jay from building 2 true eyes. And so that is not a true eye. That's actually not a true eye, because if Stanley is able to surround these 3 stones right here, what could potentially happen is that he could force Jay to play a stone right here, and then he can play a stone right here inside, capturing those stones. So this is what it would look like if Stanley is able to surround these stones right here. Jay only has 1 liberty on those 3 groups of stones, so he would most likely try to connect, and if he does try to connect, he then only has 1 liberty right here, and Stanley can come in and capture those 5 pieces. That is a brilliant move, and exactly, Stanley does see that, and Jay did see that. That's why he did a one base extension, so that he can start running away and trying to extend out of this position. Okay, that is a brilliant move. But unfortunately for Jay, he's running into Stanley's secondary group right here in the top right-hand corner. So if they keep battling it out, all Stanley has to do is pretty much go down underneath and then take over. That's it. That's all he has to do. That's all he has to do. He just has to take over. All right. So what is he doing now? Okay. So Jay sees that he's trying to get through. He's trying to break through. Oh, he's trying to break through. I don't know if he can. We'll see. Oh man, Stanley got the complete surround again. Jay ran into Stanley's 4 groups right here, and so now Stanley sees that, and this is a capture. Now Jay's panicking. He's trying to get a surround right here, but like I said, if Stanley's group feels threatened right here, all Stanley has to do is take those 3 stones, and indeed he does. He had that Aji waiting for him. He knew that could potentially happen, so he just waited for the right time. And since Jay tried to disconnect him and try to surround him, all he has to do is take those 3 pieces. And now Stanley most likely will play right here and indeed he does, to prevent Jay from escaping and from surrounding any more territory. And so now this whole entire group, will die off. Stanley has to move right here. He's in an Atari position right now because of these 3 stones are about to get taken. So he most likely will extend, and indeed he does, threatening this stone while also saving this whole chain by adding more liberties to the overall group. Now Jay, he either sacrifices that 1 stone or he extends, and he chooses to extend. But like I said, Stanley just has to play right here, and this whole entire group, this whole entire black group dies out. There's no way that Jay can save this at this point, unless he's able to find a way to take over one of the groups, and that's indeed what Jay's trying to do. He's trying to fill out the Liberty spots. But again, he has 4 more Liberties to take over versus Stanley. He only has 1 and 2. It's a losing Atari race. It's a losing Liberty race. He cannot save that group, and there is no way that he can do a complete surround at this point in time. Okay. Even so, if he tries to even take over this group right here, he still has an additional 2 Liberty, and Stanley only has 1. He will not win that Liberty race. I'm sorry. And so what happens now is Stanley knows this whole entire group is now completely eliminated from the game. And so now he's like, you know what? That's my point. I don't need to play there anymore. As much as you want to keep playing, go ahead. The more that you play, the more points you give me at the end of the game, because you do not have 2 true eyes. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to Tanuki out of there. I'm going to play elsewhere and threaten your position. And so that's indeed what he does. And so what's happening is that now Stanley's trying to build this circle of influence. You can see right here, he's utilizing the benefit of extending outward where Jay forced him to extend, as well as his prior positioning to build an enclosure around Jay's central group right here. Okay, around Jay's central group right here. And so with that influence, Stanley was like, you know what? I have more points now. I'm in a huge lead. Yeah, you might have captured 6 of my pieces. I have 8 of your pieces plus however many pieces those are, as well as, you know, this huge territory in the center. And so now Jay is like, okay, I gotta find a way to protect myself from any other invasion. Jay, if I were you, I start closing out this bar right here. This bar is feeling a little exposed. Stanley could easily come in at any time and start invading in this area, and he's slowly chipping away at Jay's pieces right here. He's putting Jay in multiple Ataris. If he moves right here, if Stanley moves right here next turn, Jay's double stone right here is in a double Atari situation, which is not a good situation to be in, unfortunately. And so Jay sees that. He's going to try to defend this whole region right here. Stanley sees that. He's going to try to build his border himself so that Jay so that Jay doesn't break through. Excuse me. So now Jay sees that this stone right here, this group of 5 stones, is very, very vulnerable. And then Stanley was like, you know what? Go ahead, take it. You only have 1 Liberty left. I'm going to take this overall spot. Again, that's another Aji situation. If you try to threaten me, I'm just going to start taking away your spot so that I open up more Liberties. That's it. Again, when you're in that position where you can have that Aji taste for later, you don't have to move there. You know that's coming. Move elsewhere. Expand your influence. Start surrounding units. Start gaining influence in another position of the board, because it's extremely hard for any player to pretty much come out of it when they're already 1 step away from being completely captured. So, all right. So what's going on is that now Jay is really all he's doing is he's pretty much fortifying what he can. He's trying to prevent Stanley from stealing more Liberty, more stones right here. Hence why he wanted to move right here to connect these 4 stones, because they were in danger of being captured. So even if Stanley was to move in one position right here or the other, all Jay has to do is fill in the opposite area to extend the chain. And that is a good strategy to have, to be diagonally set across, so that any position that your opponent comes through, you can escape through the other route. Okay, and so exactly, Stanley places right here. Jay decides to escape. So now these 4 stones is now connected with the rest of his units, opening up multiple areas of Liberties right here. Okay. And so Stanley sees that. He's going to try to break through right here. What Jay could do is he could try to disconnect Stanley's group from the top to the bottom. You have a stone right here already having some influence, and if you're able to disconnect him, you might be able to do something. But unfortunately, Stanley read that. He's going to connect right away. He doesn't want Jay to have that influence because he does see that stone playing a role right here on the group of 5 or group of 4 at the time. Okay. So now Jay's trying to do everything he can to limit the amount of territory Stanley has, but unfortunately, Stanley already took over the bottom right hand corner. There's no way for Jay to take it, as Stanley already has 2 potential eyes. All Stanley has to do is play at T1, and he will have 2 eyes. That is going to be incredibly hard to break through. I don't think there is going to be a way to break through if Stanley plays at T1 for this bottom right-hand corner. But now Stanley sees that, hey, Jay, you're not doing anything in this corner. I'm going to start invading at the 3-3 position. Let's see what you can do. And we're going to do that same Joseki move that you had trouble with up here. We're going to do the same thing, and I'm going to take a piece of that corner. Okay. So that's exactly what is occurring right now. And so Jay sees that. He sees that potential threat might happen again. So we are going to start playing 3 moves ahead of time so that you don't get the position on top of me. I'm going to be the one that will lead this Joseki today. And so now Jay's trying to cover these 3 stones so that Stanley doesn't take it. But Stanley is like, you know what? No. I'm going to keep expanding. I'm going to keep extending. I'm going to threaten these stones. If anything, I'm just going to move down and cut these stones off. And Jay sees that. He's like, okay, I got to keep extending, because if I keep extending, Stanley will eventually run into this F3 position, which is a great position. And indeed he does. So now all Jay has to do is not get stuck on the bottom right here. If he plays on the bottom right here, he'll force Stanley to go up and saving these 4 stones. But in doing so, by allowing Stanley to move up, now he can build a stronger influence on top. So now you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Either let Stanley move up on top and gain more influence, or allow him to go down and pretty much capture those 4 stones. Okay, and so Jay sees that, and so he's trying to prevent the capture of these 3 stones. So he's going to extend and try to do something about it. Now, Stanley is like, you know what? If you're going to be so focused in that group, try to connect it. I'm going to Tanuki and see if I can distract you just for that minute longer. Because right now, Jay has a nice territory. He does have a very large amount of territory right here. So Stanley's going to try, if anything, Stanley's going to try to break off that territory and gain this whole bottom corner. Okay. And Jay sees that, and Jay's like, you know what? I'm not going to do that. But Stanley can easily go right here to disconnect these 2 red stones. All he has to do is play at M7. But by doing so, he may not be able to take it. Not take it. Sorry. He may. I actually don't agree with that move. I feel like taking the 2 stones versus having it extend longer might have been better, just taking that 2 stones, because now you allow him to extend longer. If Jay just plays right here on P8, you can no longer kill that chain, versus if you were to play on top, you would have been able to gain more liberty spots. I honestly think that was an honest mistake right there. And so now what's happening is Stanley is threatening this whole entire black group. He's threatening this stone with an Atari, and if Jay doesn't respond, Stanley's going to take it and then threaten these 2 other groups right here, or 3 other groups. Okay, and unfortunately, because now Jay took that one singular spot, which is a false eye, now he's in trouble. He's in trouble with this, because this whole entire group down here does not have a single eye open. So Jay has to find a way to save it, either by forming an enclosure around here, allowing him to breathe up here, or by connecting. But if he does try to connect, Stanley, all he has to do is play around these 3 areas to pretty much disconnect him from the rest of the group. So Stanley can easily do a sacrificial move right here, sacrificing his piece to keep Jay's long chain right here from staying disconnected. Okay. And so Stanley was like, you know what, I'm gonna try to take as many points as I can. I'm gonna play elsewhere. I'm gonna Tanuki again, and now I'm gonna go over here to build my sphere of influence. And so what's gonna happen is that he's most likely going to retreat back a little bit, and now he has fortified this whole entire region. This region is now the property of Stanley's. It is Stanleytopia. And so, oh man, didn't I say if Stanley played at T1 he would have 2 eyes? Jay saw that right now, and he decided to play at T1. So now Stanley is in trouble. This right here is not a true eye just yet. It's actually a false eye, and Stanley did not see this T1 in time. So Jay is like, you know what? You can take that. I'm gonna take this bottom corner back. You might try to take this whole chain from me, but if I can get rid of this white group right here, this whole bottom corner, and it's in essence this whole right corner right here is going to be mine. And so that's what Jay is trying to do. Now Jay's trying to fill out the borders. He's trying to protect himself. And we're getting so close to the end game. I can feel it. I can feel we've got like maybe 20 or even 30 moves left. That's it. Got to get some more water. So guys, if you guys are enjoying these live casts, please comment down below. Let me know what you like about it. This is, like I said, my first time doing commentations such as this. My voice is going out. That's hence why I'm drinking a lot of water. But please let me know what you guys think about these live casts, and if you guys enjoy them. And please, if you guys have a game that you would like me to do commentations for, send me the link to your OGS account, or to the OGS game, or even the whatever game that I can read it on. So if you have an SGF file, give it to me. It's really, really fun. I love the strategy that evolves from these types of games, and I'm hoping that you guys who are newer players are taking a lot of value out of this. And if you guys are professional players, I hope that I'm sharing some of my struggles with you guys, knowledge, whatever. But anyways, let's get back to the game right here. So Jay sees that this is a false eye, so he is going to try to get this. But unfortunately for Jay right now, he only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 liberties left, which might benefit him, because right now Stanley only has 1, 2, 3, 4 liberties. So if anything, Jay is ahead in the liberty race, and Jay knows this. There's nothing that Stanley can really do to come back from this group from getting taken. So what Stanley can do now is try to finish out the borders here and pretty much save as much territory as he can towards the end game. And there might be some more conflict around here, but I highly doubt this group right here is going to survive, since Jay has such a strong fortification on the outer edges of the map. So we're gonna have to wait and see. We're just gonna have to wait and see. Yeah, so right now we're just filling out the neutral zones right here. The neutral zones are getting filled out currently. Like I said, this whole group is going to die. That is Stanley's point. So this whole entire group is going to die. So Jay's not really going to waste units trying to save them. They're essentially already dead. So all he's doing right now is fortifying the borders, taking up as many neutral positions as he can. Most likely Jay's going to play on 01 right here to finish off the play style. Yeah, you can try to threaten it, but Stanley just has to connect, and you pretty much gave him a free point. I probably wouldn't have done that. That would have been a waste of a move. And you're giving your opponent a free point. I mean, look at Stanley already captured 18 pieces. And so this bottom point right here, 01, is one of the remaining neutral points that I see, as well as L7. So those are the 2 remaining neutral points. And I believe they both pass. Yeah, they both pass. So what is the final count? All right, so the final count right here, JayHannah with 110 points and Stanley.Silver taking the comeback. He made the comeback and he won with an amazing 121.5 points. So if anything, Stanley was ahead by 11 points. Jay, you did a fantastic job gathering as much territory as you can. You gathered this whole entire area as well as this bottom left-hand corner, and essentially Stanley's pieces are essentially gone. And Stanley, you did the same. You took this whole entire top right here as well as these little bits. And again, there were some neutral positions right here that we did see. Jay, you could have squeezed out 3 more points, but that wouldn't have done much anyways. But this positioning right here, oh my gosh. Jay should have been able to take in this spot. I honestly feel that Jay could have taken that spot. Let's see, if Jay played here, Stanley could have easily played down here, right? Blocking that, and then Jay could have played, let's see, Jay could have played here, Stanley could have played there, taking those two. Jay, oh no, maybe not. All right, so maybe yeah, okay, so all right, well, whatever. I try to play it out in my head, but anyways, this was a fantastic game. JayHannah, Stanley.Silver, thank you so much again for sending me your game. This was an amazing comeback. I absolutely love this game. JayHannah was ahead with 6 extra stones starting off of the game, and Stanley was able to overcome that 6-stone handicap as well as giving up his 6-point advantage as being the player that goes second. So I hope you guys enjoyed this match. This was a wonderful, wonderful match. I love these types of matches. And so I'll see you guys. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys learned something. Hopefully you guys are criticizing me on how much stuff I'm missing. But anyways, I can't wait until the next time. I'll see you guys in the next commentary.